chosen ones right now, a group of individuals is locked in stunned disbelief, hearts pounding, palms slick with dread over a court case that is rapidly spiraling out of control. Their darkest deeds, carefully hidden transactions, treacherous alliances and destructive lies are emerging piece by piece, undeniable and damning. The stakes have never been higher, the exposure never more brutal. This group's desperate attempts at secrecy crumble beneath the glaring weight of evidence that screams betrayal. Their power is eroding, their reputations collapsing. There's no escape from this courtroom reckoning. The truth has entered the arena, unchained and unstoppable, and the verdict will echo loudly enough for everyone to hear. Their bodies betray their mounting dread. Sleepless nights, churning stomachs, migraines that medication cannot touch, physical manifestations of spiritual law at work. The law that states what you send into the world returns to its origin point. Financial foundations shake beneath them. Unexpected expenses, accounts frozen, resources dwindling with alarming speed. The very wealth they schemed to keep from you slips through their fingers like sand, impossible to grasp, regardless of how tightly they clench their fists. Listen to their arguments echoing down corridors. Behind closed doors, they believe secure. Accusation, counter-accusation. The blame game escalates as each attempts to distance themselves from what they all participated in creating. United in conspiracy, now divided in consequence. Messages sent. In panic. Delete everything. Say nothing. Deny all knowledge. These desperate communications compound their predicament, creating additional evidence of consciousness of guilt. Every attempt to cover their tracks leaves new tracks more damning than the first. Their facade of normalcy requires increasingly exhausting effort. Smiles strain, laughter rings hollow. Professional composure fractures under the pressure of knowing what approaches. The mask slips more frequently now, revealing glimpses of the terror beneath. For too long they presented themselves as pillars of community, benefactors, defenders of order. People pointed to them as examples of success, of integrity, of righteousness. The contrast between this carefully curated image and the reality of their actions creates a cognitive dissonance many struggle to reconcile. Reality emerges regardless. The generous philanthropist who secretly diverted funds meant for your benefit. The trusted advisor who deliberately steered you toward loss while positioning themselves for gain. The concerned friend who spread poisonous whispers while embracing you with smiles. Systems designed for justice became weapons in their hands. They navigated legal labyrinths with arrogant familiarity, manipulating processes, influencing decisions, distorting facts. They believed their understanding of these systems made them invulnerable to these same systems. Cosmic irony now reveals their error as these very mechanisms turn against them with methodical precision. Beneath their attacks festered jealousy, raw, irrational, consuming. They witnessed your light, your resilience, your capacity to rise despite their efforts, and it enraged them. Your authentic power highlighted their spiritual bankruptcy. Your natural gifts made mockery of their purchased advantages. Your genuine connections exposed the hollowness of their strategic alliances. Documents surface now. Emails recovered from servers they thought wiped clean. Conversations recorded by parties they believed loyal. Financial trails they thought sufficiently obscured. The coordinated nature of their campaign against you emerges. With undeniable clarity, the scale of their efforts reveals the threat they believed you posed simply by existing in your authentic power. Multiple parties, various approaches, significant resources, all deployed against a single target, you. The disproportionate response itself testifies to the power they recognized within you, even as they denied it publicly. Look at the revealed pattern: systematic isolation, cutting potential supporters from your orbit through carefully crafted narratives, strategic undermining of your financial foundation through manipulated opportunities and hidden obstacles, calculated attacks on your credibility precisely when your voice began to strengthen. Their network exposed, individuals connected through mutual benefit and shared vulnerability, each compromised enough to ensure loyalty through fear, each granted just enough advantage to secure their participation. The hierarchy of their operation laid bare, from masterminds to willing pawns, legal documents bearing suspicious signatures, dates that don't align, provisions that contradict established intentions. The paper trail of manipulation grows more defined with each revelation. What should have been yours, diverted. What was intended for your benefit, intercepted. What belonged to you by right, redistributed among their circle. While they spiral in escalating panic, you stand increasingly centered. The contrast could not appear more stark. Their frantic energy versus your growing stillness. Their desperate maneuvers versus your authentic presence. Their fragmentation versus your integration. Freedom dawns within you. Not merely freedom from their machinations, but freedom from the need for their approval, their recognition, their validation. The very bonds they used to manipulate you dissolve, revealing they possessed no actual substance, beyond your belief in their reality. Divine timing orchestrates this unfolding with perfect precision. Had these revelations emerged earlier, necessary pieces might have remained hidden. Had they emerged later, irreparable damage might have occurred. The cosmic clockwork turns with exquisite accuracy, bringing truth to light at the exact moment when its impact proves most comprehensive. Others notice. Observers previously swayed by crafted narratives now question what they thought they knew. Those who stood aside in uncertainty now step forward with information, with support, with acknowledgement of what they witnessed but feared to name. Your vindication arrives not through your insistence, but through the inevitable emergence of suppressed truth. Your position strengthens without effort on your part. No need for defense when the universe itself undertakes your vindication. No need for argument when reality speaks with thunderous clarity. No need for pursuit when what is yours returns drawn by immutable spiritual law. Official seals stamp documents that change everything. Court cases built on fabrications collapse under scrutiny. Statements given under penalty of perjury contradict previously unchallenged narratives. The machinery of justice, once manipulated against you, realigns with its true purpose. Truth possesses momentum that falsehood cannot match. Once set in motion, it gathers force, breaking through barriers, overcoming obstacles, sweeping aside resistance through the sheer power of its nature. What begins as a trickle becomes a stream, becomes a river, becomes a flood. They cannot build dams fast enough to contain it. Their fear of exposure exceeds even their fear of legal consequence. The thought of standing naked in the court of public opinion, their carefully constructed personas stripped away, their actions examined in the harsh light of collective judgment, terrifies them beyond reason. The very social standing they wielded as a weapon now stands poised to become the measure of their fall. Divine justice operates through human channels, but originates beyond human limitation. It considers factors courts cannot recognize, addresses harms no legal statute defines, and implements remedies no human authority could devise. It moves with perfect knowledge and unerring precision toward perfect balance. Chosen ones, something in your DNA changed the moment you said no to the system. You became the mutation archons feared for centuries. While the world numbs itself with distraction, you've been waking up, cell by cell, thought by thought, dimension by dimension. Inside the obsidian inner order, we are mapping this evolution together. We are building the real God code, not through dogma, but through ancient breathwork, sacred energy practices, psychic training, and pure cosmic download. The more we connect, the more the old world falls apart. The archons are losing grip because you were never meant to fit into their design. Every week we meet in real time, on live group calls where chosen ones reveal what's happening on the ground and in the higher realms. You will also receive the modern manifestation mechanics, a field manual not for manifesting trinkets, but for reconstructing reality itself. This book is encoded. It only works for those whose DNA has already begun to awaken. If you're feeling the resonance now, that's not coincidence. It's a frequency lock. The order is alive, it's growing, and the real ones are already inside. Click the link in the description below and step into the collective mutation. Maintain your higher vibration despite provocations designed to pull you into their chaotic frequency. They will attempt to draw you down, to engage you in battles fought with familiar weapons on familiar ground. Refuse. Your power operates at an entirely different level, rendering their tactics obsolete when you decline to engage with them. Trust. The unfolding process without demanding to control its timetable or its methods. Divine timing rarely matches human impatience. Forced fruit lacks sweetness. Rushed justice lacks completeness. Allow the cosmic machinery to work at its own perfect pace, knowing that what appears as delay often serves as essential preparation. The abundance returning to you, resources, reputation, opportunity, connection, arrives not as compensation, but as restoration. These elements always belonged in your stewardship. Their return represents correction rather than reward, the universe, reorganizing itself to reflect truth rather than manipulation. Recognize how your spiritual strength preserved you when material defenses failed. Throughout their campaign against you, something within you remained untouched, undiminished, unreachable by their most determined efforts. That invulnerable essence, your true nature, sustained you through their attacks and now fuels your restoration. What transpires here extends beyond personal vindication into cosmic rebalancing. Patterns of manipulation, exploitation, and suppression operating for generations confront their inevitable correction. Your individual experience forms part of a larger realignment unfolding across multiple dimensions of reality. The forces opposing authentic power overplayed their hand in targeting you. Their excessive response to the threat they perceived in your natural gifts exposed mechanisms meant to remain hidden, strategies intended to operate undetected, systems designed to appear as natural order rather than constructed control. Light workers strategically placed throughout the system activate now, having maintained their cover until this pivotal moment. Watch as coincidental assistance appears from unexpected sources. Observe seemingly unrelated events converging to create precisely the circumstances required for full revelation. Notice apparent strangers stepping forward with exactly the missing pieces needed. Your DNA itself responds, activating dormant codes, awakening suppressed abilities, accessing cellular memories of times before corruption gained dominance. The very substance of your physical form participates in this revelation, this revolution, this restoration of divine order. What they attempted to manipulate at the grossest material level receives correction at the most fundamental quantum level. The cosmic chess game approaches checkmate. Moves planned centuries ago execute now through human actors largely unaware. of the larger strategy they implement. What appears as random chance or fortunate coincidence represents the culmination of intricate divine planning that anticipated every possible counter-move. Panic escalates among them as each new revelation triggers cascading consequences. What began as concern transforms into terror as they realize the extent of what comes to light exceeds their worst fears. Their attempts at damage control only compound their exposure, each desperate move revealing additional aspects of their conspiracy. Loyalty disintegrates under pressure. Those who stood united in attacking you now turn on each other with vicious precision, offering sacrificial lambs, redirecting blame, negotiating separate peace at the expense of former allies. The circular firing squad forms as each attempts to salvage something from the collapse. Watch their public faces, the strained smiles, the defensive postures, the rehearsed responses that no longer convince. Observe their social media suddenly sanitized, connections strategically severed, positions hastily modified to suggest they always stood elsewhere than where evidence places them. Their nightmares manifest in waking hours. Scenarios they once dismissed as impossible unfold before them with inexorable momentum. Contingency plans prove inadequate against the comprehensive nature of what emerges. Escape routes close one by one as the circle of accountability tightens around them. Nothing about this unfolding drama occurs by chance. The timing of revelations, the sequence of discoveries, the confluence of circumstances that brings hidden truth to light, all unfold according to divine orchestration, transcending human understanding or human obstruction. Key individuals arrive precisely when needed. The investigator who notices the discrepancy others missed. The administrator who locates the document thought destroyed. The witness who steps forward when all testimony seems aligned against you. Their appearances seem coincidental only to those unaware of the cosmic choreography at work. Technologies thought to provide perfect cover fail at critical moments. Deleted files resurface. Encrypted communications decrypt. Secured locations breach. The very tools they relied upon to ensure their security become instruments of their exposure through malfunctions that serve divine purpose rather than random chance. Spiritual forces work through mundane channels. Court clerks suddenly review files normally ignored. Administrative procedures typically rushed receive unusual scrutiny. Routine processes randomly generate audits. Standard operations inexplicably deviate just enough to illuminate what was meant to remain hidden. Universal law operates with mathematical precision. Every action generates appropriate reaction. Every cause produces corresponding effect. The energy directed toward harm returns transformed into justice. The intentions focused on injury rebound as healing. The effort invested in destruction converts to restoration. Their actions created karmic debt that accumulates compound interest. Each day they continued their campaign, multiplied their eventual accountability. Each opportunity to cease their attacks, ignored. Each chance to mitigate their actions, rejected. Each warning sign, dismissed. The cosmic accountant delivers a bill they lack resources to pay. Observe the symmetry between offense and consequence. Where they attacked your financial foundation, their economic security dissolves. Where they undermined your relationships, their alliances fracture. Where they assaulted your reputation, their public standing collapses. Perfect balance manifests throughout the resolution. The timeline stretches beyond what human perception typically recognizes. Actions from previous cycles factor into current consequences. Energetic patterns established through multiple incarnations reach culmination point. Soul contracts created for this specific resolution activate their final clauses. The full cosmic context exceeds their limited understanding. Those who watched from the sidelines, neither supporting their attacks nor opposing them, awaken now to the significance of their passive complicity. The luxury of neutrality vanishes as revelation forces acknowledgement. To witness injustice without response becomes increasingly uncomfortable as the magnitude of what occurred emerges. Former supporters of their campaign recalibrate their alignment. The narrative they accepted unquestioningly no longer withstands scrutiny. The leaders they followed unthinkingly no longer command confidence. The cause they embraced uncritically no longer appears righteous. The cognitive dissonance forces re-evaluation that ripples outward through social networks. New allies emerge from unexpected quarters, individuals who observed in silence but recorded with attention, who appeared to accept the prevailing narrative while quietly assembling its contradictions, who seemed uninvolved while strategically positioning themselves to offer critical assistance at the perfect moment. Collective consciousness shifts as the pattern revealed in your specific situation illuminates similar dynamics operating elsewhere. Your individual experience serves as catalyst for broader recognition, for wider awakening, for more comprehensive rebalancing that extends far beyond your personal circumstances. Throughout their campaign, they attempted to claim authority over your energetic field, to define your identity, to determine your value, to dictate your possibilities, to control your expression. Their presumption of jurisdiction over your sovereign spiritual territory constituted their fundamental error. Reclaim every aspect of self they attempted to colonize. Your narrative, now yours to write without their inserted falsehoods. Your gifts, now yours to express without their imposed limitations. Your connections, now yours to cultivate without their strategic interference. Your resources, now yours to steward without their systematic siphoning. Establish energetic boundaries with absolute clarity. Their access to your field revoked. Their influence over your perception terminated. Their manipulation of your environment neutralized. Their projection onto your identity rejected. Your sovereignty stands non-negotiable, your spiritual territory inviolable. Your auric field strengthens with each passing day, repairing breaches they exploited, sealing vulnerabilities they targeted, reinforcing boundaries they violated. The luminous protective sphere surrounding you pulses with renewed vitality, repelling lower frequencies, deflecting projected negativity, neutralizing psychic attacks before they penetrate your consciousness. Divine protection surrounds you, not as abstract concept, but as tangible, energetic reality. Spiritual guardians stand watch, their vigilance unaffected by physical limitation, their perception unimpeded by material deception, their intervention precisely calibrated to preserve your free will while ensuring your essential safety. They witness every attempt to sabotage your restoration and redirect these energies toward your empowerment. The power they feared in you emerges fully now, no longer constrained by doubts they planted, by concerns they manufactured, by limitations they fabricated. The magnificence they attempted to diminish radiates with intensity multiplied by the pressure of their suppression. What they sought to extinguish illuminates with unprecedented brilliance. Their ultimate fear manifests. The comprehensive nature of what emerges exceeds their capacity to contain. The revelation extends beyond individual actions into systematic operations, beyond personal vendettas into organizational objectives, beyond isolated incidents into established patterns. The full scope of their campaign becomes undeniable. Documents they believed destroyed resurface from unexpected sources. Conversations they considered private replay through testimony of participants they thought loyal. Financial transactions they thought untraceable reconstruct through forensic analysis. The infrastructure of deception collapses under the weight of accumulated evidence. Spiritual forces they dismissed as superstition demonstrate tangible influence through coincidences, too numerous and too precisely aligned to attribute to random chance. The materialistic worldview that facilitated their ethical flexibility provides no framework to comprehend the orchestrated nature of their exposure. The final truth emerges with crystalline clarity. Their power was illusion, their control was temporary, their victory was mirage. What appeared as their strength derived from your unconscious consent persisted through your unwitting participation and dissolved upon your awakening recognition of your inherent sovereignty. As this chapter concludes, fresh possibility dawns. Energy previously consumed in navigating their obstacles now becomes available for authentic creation. Attention formerly required for discerning their deceptions now focuses on manifesting your vision. Resources once diverted defending against their attacks now invest in building what your spirit has always intended. Your experience transforms into wisdom that serves others facing similar circumstances. Your navigation of this labyrinth creates a map for those who follow. Your triumph over these forces demonstrates possibilities previously considered theoretical. Your embodied example provides proof that justice ultimately prevails despite apparent evidence to the contrary. Creation accelerates through your liberated consciousness. Ideas crystallize with unprecedented clarity. Visions manifest with remarkable speed. Intentions actualize with minimal resistance. The gap between conception and materialization narrows dramatically as artificial barriers dissolve. What previously required years of persistent effort now unfolds with stunning efficiency. Your frequency broadcasts across distances beyond physical measurement. Those attuned to similar vibrations detect your signal regardless of geographic separation. Souls contracted to connect with your specific mission activate upon receiving this transmission. The spiritual network designed to support this phase of your work comes online with perfect synchronization. The network forming around you now consists of authentic connection rather than strategic alliance. Individuals drawn by resonance rather than utility. Relationships based in mutual recognition rather than mutual exploitation. Community founded on shared values rather than shared enemies. The quality of this foundation ensures what builds upon it will endure. Divine order establishes itself within and around you. Internally, clarity replaces confusion. Certainty supersedes doubt. Peace overcomes anxiety. Externally, opportunities arrive aligned with purpose. Resources appear matched to vision. Supporters emerge suited to collaboration. The chaotic disruption of their interference yields to the harmonious flow of universal support. Hear this now with every fiber of your being. What was meant for your destruction becomes the foundation of your elevation. The very forces deployed against you transform into energies that propel you forward. The precise mechanisms intended to ensure your failure convert into instruments guaranteeing your success. Their desperation directly proportions to your imminent breakthrough. The intensity of their panic accurately measures the magnitude of your approaching restoration. Their increasingly frantic attempts to prevent the inevitable precisely calibrate the significance of what they cannot stop. The light they tried so diligently to extinguish reveals their desperate measures for exactly what they are. No explanation they offer withstands illumination. No justification they present survives scrutiny. No narrative they construct endures examination. Truth needs no defense beyond its simple expression. Your patience and resilience have been noted and recorded by forces beyond human comprehension. The dignity you maintained through their undignified attacks, the integrity you preserved despite their relentless corruption, the compassion you extended even toward those who showed none toward you. Nothing goes unwitnessed in the cosmic accounting. The universe declares through unmistakable demonstration, what is rightfully yours returns multiplied. The restoration includes not merely what was taken, but what would have developed from it had interference never occurred. Not simply replacement, but regeneration. Not just recovery, but renaissance. Not merely resumption, but revolution. The time is now. The waiting ends. The preparation completes. The alignment perfects. The moment arrives. Step forward into what has always been yours.